Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this beloved celebration this afternoon. I'm Reverend Patty Hanneman. I am a member here, and I just wanted to give a few householding tips, I guess, before we get started. First of all, a reminder, or for those who haven't been here before, the bathrooms and coat rooms are to the right. As you exit the sanctuary, if you turn right and then right again, you'll find both the restrooms and the coat room if you want to get rid of your coat. We're asking everyone to stay masked unless you are speaking or you're a soloist. So please honor that request today. And due to an abundance of precaution, we are having our guest musician, Melanie DeMoore, singing and conducting from the chapel back here. So just be aware of that. We are thrilled to have her and all of our speakers and musicians with us this morning. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoy this afternoon.
3, 4. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're gonna run like Mother Moses ran and keep running on. We're gonna run like Mother Moses ran and keep running on. We're gonna run like Mother Moses ran and keep running on. Run like Mother Moses ran and keep running on. 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 Run like Mother Moses ran. We're gonna walk like Mother Moses walked and keep walking on. We're gonna walk like Mother Moses walked and keep walking on. We're gonna walk like Mother Moses walked and keep walking on. Walk like Mother Moses walked. Everybody, come on. We're walking on. Keep 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 walking on. Walk like Mother Moses walked. Yeah, we're gonna march like Brother Martin marched and keep marching on. We're gonna march like Brother Martin marched and keep marching on. We're gonna march like Brother Martin marched and keep marching on. March like Brother Martin marched. Come on now. Keep marching on. Keep walking on. 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 March like Brother Martin marched. Well, march on, march on. March on, march on. Keep marching on. Keep marching on. Keep marching, marching, sister, marching on. Oh, march like Brother Martin marched. Last time, everybody. Keep marching on. Keep marching on. Keep marching on. Keep marching on. like Mother Moses ran.
Please be seated. Woo!
Good afternoon, ERUUF friends and family. I am Sarah Terry, Chair of ERUUF's Board of Trustees, and it is my great honor to be here on behalf of the entire fellowship to welcome you from near and far to our beloved community. We are located on the ancestral lands of the Ino, Sissipaha, Shakori, Saponi, and Lumbee people. Just over a year ago, on January 20th, 2022, we voted to call Reverend Brett to be our lead minister. As our then Board of Trustees Chair, Bonnie LaCroix, said that day, we selected Reverend Brett because we firmly believe she is the right person to help ERUUF realize our vision of being a welcoming and radically inclusive congregation with deep spiritual and personal connections, a congregation that radiates love, joy, and a spirit of generosity, and one that actively works for racial, economic, social, and environmental justice. In the words of Leslie Takahashi, who gifted us with more words of wisdom this morning, she says, "All that we have ever loved and all that we have ever been stands with us on the brink of all that we aspire to create. A deeper peace, a larger love, a more embracing hope, and a deeper joy in this life we share. This is the hour, my friends, that we install the Reverend Jacqueline Brett to be our lead minister." Let us begin.
Now let us sing. Now let us sing. Lift up your voice, don't be afraid. Now let us sing. Come on, altos. Now let us sing. Sing till the power of the Lord come down. Now let us sing. Sing till the power of the Lord come down. Lift up your voice. Lift up your come down. When the saints sing till the power marching in, Lord, come down. Oh, when the saints sing till the power marching in, Lord, come down. I want to hold in that power. When the saints sing till the power marching in, Lord, come down. Sing till the power of the Lord come down. Sing till the power of the Lord come down. Lift up your voice, don't be afraid. Sing till the power of the Lord.
All of you now.
When the saints sing praise, yeah. When the saints sing of the precious light.
Now let
Sing till the power of the Lord come down. Sing till the power of the Lord come down. Lift up your voice, don't be afraid. Sing till the power of the Lord come down. Sing till the power of the Lord come down. Sing till the power of the Lord come down. Lift up your voice, don't be afraid. Sing till the power of the, sing till the power of the, sing till the power of the, sing till the power of the Lord come down.
Please be seated.
I hope y'all don't mind if I move this a little bit. I want to be behind the pulpit today, right now. Do you feel that? Do you feel that? Do you understand that it is not just us that you feel? Do you understand that it is not just us that we feel? Those who have come before us have held us, molded us, loved us, reminded of our power and presence in this world. They are with us still, even though they may not be physically present in this space. Their spirits are among us. Their spirits are with those of us who could not be here in person. And so in this moment, we do what we have to do, which is give honor to them. And so in this moment, I invite you to wonder, who among us is with us still? Who has loved us and loved on us? Who has been family, given or chosen, who were no longer in this realm, but having a whole lot to say from where they are? Who have inspired us and cared for us and continue to help us be who we are all called to be in this space and beyond. The invitation in this moment is to lift up their names. Call them forth. Call them forth now. Elijah, Louise, Audrey. We pour libations to honor the river of life that flows through all sources of love. And so we say thank you to all those who came before. Thank you for loving us. Thank you for holding us. Thank you for reminding us of who we are and whose we are. Thank you for holding this space, not just today, but every single day forward. May we all be reminded in this moment that it's not just us in here. It's all those who came before. Amen. Ashe. And blessed be.
What a wonderful day for the celebration. So we come this afternoon to remember our call to do justice, love kindness, walk humbly, to uphold one another in prayer, and to be bound to each other in friendship and concern. We come into this circle of community, bound by the Spirit who called us to be vital, vibrant people, living out our liberation, forward-looking, alert, ready to bring healing and wholeness to the world. Spirit of life, gather us in and hold us in love. We come for we have heard the call to live compassion way, to welcome the stranger and break down barriers of exclusion, to reconcile our differences and set aside our wrongs, to embrace our diversities and know the blessing and the harmony that is found when we open our hearts and mind to all. God of justice, gather us and encircle us with grace. We come to sing hope's song, to ring in the light when darkness abound, to be a beacon of joy in desperate places, to respond to love as it beckons us into a still more excellent way. Let us rise and sing with joy. Come, let us celebrate. Come, let us worship together.
You may recognize or not that many of us have come from a great distance to be here because our colleague, our friend, your minister, called to us. And when Jacqueline calls, you come. You come. So I bring greetings from the Unitarian Universalist congregation at Shelter Rock on Long Island. Join with you in the fellowship of Unitarian Universalism. And so we light our chalice today, our chalice which is a symbol of Unitarian Universalism. This chalice before us is always a cup so deep and so wide that it can hold all our hopes and dreams, all our knowings and learnings and aspirations. Within it is all that we have been, all we are now, and what we may yet become. It holds our ancestors from past generations, and it holds our children from generations to come. This flame is the light of our individual lights gathered together into a bigger and stronger flame, a powerful fire, a torchlight, a searchlight, lighting our way, illuminating our path forward toward the beloved community which we seek, the community of peace and justice, lighting our way toward the community of deep and deeper and deeper love and care, which we can only build in community with one another. Our chalice is with us here today and can remain always in our hearts if we care for its cup, if we keep it whole and unbroken, if we tend to its flame and keep it shining. We must know the story of this, our symbol, because it is our story. We must join in the legacies of Unitarian Universalists that this chalice represents. It is a symbol of our living tradition and must be kept alive. We must choose not to stand apart from the sorrow and laughter of this community of faith. This moment's chalice holds our hopes and dreams for the ministry of the Reverend Jacqueline Brett. This chalice holds the intention, the gratitude, the challenges, the blessings of the shared ministry of this congregation. This flame burns with the love this gathering holds for Jacqueline Brett, the care and respect this community offers to this powerful and precious human soul. This care for this powerful and precious human soul, which you are now obligated to hold. We light this chalice, knowing and holding dear its many intentions. We light this chalice today with our hearts, our minds, and our spirits. May its light never go out.
Hello, my name is Kathy McGowan, and I am so honored to be here with you in this great day of celebration. Oh, maybe I could do this. I bring you greetings from the Unitarian Universalist Association of Congregations. Of congregations. You are here with all of the congregations that covenant with you today. Congregations who are in rural areas that have no staff and no ministers, they are with us today. Congregations in our big cities with multiple ministers and big staff, they are with you today. Congregations who have just begun their becoming, they are with us today. So as you take this next important step on this vital journey of yet another chapter in your becoming, please remember, you are not alone. You are never, ever alone. We are with you. I bring greetings.
I am the Reverend Leslie Takahashi, and honored to serve as the current president of the Unitarian Universalist Ministers Association. And on behalf of our more than 1,000 members, we bring greetings to this auspicious occasion and express our gratitude for the many gifts that the Reverend Jacqueline Brett not only will give us, but already has given us in her extraordinary service to our association.
I'm the Reverend Sherry Halliday Kwan. I serve the First Unitarian Church of Rochester, and it is that role that allowed me the privilege, the blessing, and the responsibility of greeting the Reverend Jacqueline Brett at her first retreat of the senior ministers of large UU congregations, just a couple of weeks after she was called by this congregation last year. Together, we serve on the program team of this small gathering of senior ministry leaders, and this group of about 30 people is a testament that even in our largest institutions, our organizations, our congregations, our ways of being together that have the biggest numbers, whether it's people or missions, that we must find smaller gatherings, places to know and be known, and that our power together is in being held, amplified, and loved. We bring greetings from the senior ministers of large UU congregations. What a blessing this day is for all of us.
Good afternoon, beloveds. My name is Reverend Michael Slack. I send greetings and blessings from Black Lives of Unitarian Universalism, where I serve as their community minister for worship and spiritual care. Two of the most incredible things that happen in Blue is that we put the building of relationships at the heart of what we do, and that we put love, justice, and liberation. We make sure that that serves as the core of how we approach and do our work. It has been a real gift to get to know ERUUF all along the time that I have been a part of Blue as their minister. And one of the things that I know for a fact is that those two things are things that Reverend Jacqueline puts at the forefront of her ministry. And so it is a great gift that she is here with you. I am so very pleased to be here for this celebration, knowing that ERUUF and Reverend Jacqueline and so many others have been here and present, so very present for my family and me, and especially to my Black biracial kiddo, who sometimes in the past has done church in our living room with Reverend Jacqueline as the minister. It is a brilliant thing to have someone so special in my life personally, and it is really wonderful to know that Reverend Jacqueline gets to be here with all of you. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Greetings from Durham congregations, associations, and neighborhood organization, Clergy Caucus. The Durham CAN Clergy Caucus is comprised of clergy from 22 congregations throughout the great city of Durham. Reverend Brett has been an active member of the Clergy Caucus for nearly a decade. She brings intelligence, insight, and inspiration to our caucus. She always advocates for diversity, equity, and inclusion to ensure the marginalized and disenfranchised are seen, heard, and supported in the city of Durham. We are honored and humbled to have Reverend Brett in our caucus. So this afternoon, on behalf of all the clergy of Durham CAN, let me take this opportunity, Reverend Brett, to congratulate you for the work assigned to your hands. May the love of God be upon you as you endeavor to serve in this position as lead pastor. We are praying for you, and may the grace of God be with you always. Ashe and amen.
Beloveds, I am the Reverend Dr. Sofia Betancourt, and it is my immense privilege to bring greetings from our Unitarian Universalist Service Committee and share with you all our gratitude for the Reverend Jacqueline Brett's service on our Board of Trustees. Our board also gathered this weekend in Washington, D.C., and I come full of their love, of their blessings, of their gratitude, and their celebration of this most sacred of days and the renewal of this shared ministry together. Our UU Service Committee advances human rights and social justice around the world, partnering with those who confront unjust power structures and mobilizing to challenge oppressive policies. Our work is grounded in the belief that all people have inherent power and dignity. And Reverend Brett brings her commitment to racial justice and collective liberation to the work of our UUSC board, and we are so proud to have her leadership in our more than 80-year investment of Unitarian Universalist values in the work of justice around the globe. Congratulations on this most holy day. Reverend Brett has also asked me to bring a word of prayer as we shift from acclamation and arrival and ancestral praise into the heart of our service of installation. Friends, will you pray with me? God of many names and one abundant love, we ask your blessing on one who has long been called from among our people and who today reaffirms her connections and call to this beloved community. We also gather in the spirit of fellowship, the spirit of communal aspiration of beloved community, and we ask that this gathering that includes those in this sanctuary and those online be held in the utmost possibility that of all that may come from your mission. We reach from our connections in this beloved congregation to other beloved Unitarian Universalists, to other beloved members of other faith traditions. Imagine that web of investment in the possibilities of life. May we remember that as a gathered people, our ministry changes the world. So on this day, may we be filled with the strength of our ancestors, filled with the love of this community, filled with the call of this beloved colleague, and filled with the knowledge that what comes will be holy, that what comes will be a blessing. And may we now open our spirits to be a bridge between what is and all that is to come. In the name of all that we hold holy. Amen. Ashe, and blessed be.
All around our wounded planet, folks are on their knees, looking to their gods and asking, can you help us please? How do we get so far away from the love you gave? What happened to the light and love? Hear us as we pray. Come by here, my Lord. Come by here. Please join me. Come by here, my Lord. Come by here. Come by here, my Lord. Come by here. Oh, oh Lord, come by here. 'Cause we are weeping, Lord. Come by here. We are weeping, my Lord. Please come by here. We are weeping, my Lord. Come by here. Oh, oh Lord, come by here. For our children, Lord, come by here. For our children, my Lord, please come by here. For our children, my Lord, come by here. Oh, oh Lord, come by here. all people, Lord, come by here. For all people, my Lord, please come by here. For all people, Lord, come by here. Oh, Lord, come by here. Come by here, my Lord. Come by here. Come by here, my Lord. Please come by here. Come by here, my Lord. Come by here. Oh, Lord, come by here. Oh, Lord, come by here. Oh, Lord, come by here.
It's hard to follow that beauty with mere words. I'm the Reverend Susan Frederick Gray, President of the Unitarian Universalist Association. And it is my deep honor and great blessing to be with you all today as you, the members, leaders of Eno River UU Fellowship, install as your senior minister, the Reverend Jacqueline Brett. This is the day that has been given to us. Let us be glad and rejoice in it. It is good to be together, friends. Friends and colleagues, dear ones near and far. These are quite the days we are living in. We are living in the midst of change and turmoil, uncertainty, anxiety, and also possibility. These are liminal times. The word liminal, it means a time in between. It signifies living in a space or being in a space when what has been is no longer, and what is ahead is still unclear. Liminal is the best word I know to describe these days, these years of pandemic and uprising, of loss, of powerful movement organizing, a time that has upended so much of our lives. And yet, what is next is still unfolding, still being imagined, still being fought over, still being created. Liminal times. So I have a story to share with you today, and I love to tell stories. Now, this is a story from the late humanitarian and writer Denon Perry, and it's called The Parable of the Trapeze. And, you know, there's some things that are problematic about it. I want to be clear about that. It's ableist. It relies on physical and embodied images.
It relies on an image that few of us physically could ever do. I'm not a trapeze artist. But there is a rhythm and a palpable feeling in this story that really touches me, and so that's why I'm sharing it with you today. Perry writes, "Most of the time, I spend my life hanging on for dear life to my trapeze bar of the moment. It carries me along at a certain steady rate of swing, and I have the feeling that I am in control of my life. I know most of the right questions and even some of the answers. But every once in a while, as I'm merrily or even not so merrily swinging along, I see another trapeze bar headed for me. And I know it has my name on it. It's my next move, my growth, my aliveness coming to get me. And each time it happens, I pray that I won't have to let go of that current bar before I safely reach the next one, right? But in my knowing place, I know that I must totally release my grasp on my old bar. And for some moment in time, I must hurdle across space before I can grab that next bar. Each time I am filled with terror. It doesn't matter that in all my previous hurdles across the void of unknowing, I have always made it. I am each time afraid that I will miss. I do it anyway. Perhaps this is the essence of what the mystics call the faith experience. No guarantees, no net, no insurance plan. But you do it anyway because somehow to keep hanging on to that old bar is no longer on the list of alternatives. So for an eternity that can last a microsecond or 1,000 lifetimes, I soar across the void of the past is gone, the future is not yet here. It's called transition. And I have come to believe that transition is the only place where real change occurs." There's Perry's word, Danon Perry's words. Well, friends, we are in a moment of transition. Anyone else feel like they're hurtling out in a void, not holding on to either bar? Yes, me too. I'm right there with you. Yes. And, one of the reasons for the pomp and circumstance around installation services is to call attention to transition, to mark the time. As with any threshold, an installation service marks a departure and a beginning, a transition into a new relationship of ministry, new possibilities of growth and depth and change. It's powerful. And friends, we should feel the notes of anticipation and gravity on this day. And it's not just this present moment and this congregation and Reverend Brett that are in transition. Indeed, our whole global community is in transition. We are all still finding our way through a devastating global pandemic. We are living with the present reality of global climate change disrupting and destroying whole communities and so many lives. We are living with the daily reality of mass violence in this country. Police killings, particularly of Black and brown people. The rise of authoritarianism, fascism, yes. And attempted coups, wars, and uprisings here and around the world. There is unsettledness, challenge, and anxiety in our daily lives. Out there in the void without a bar. And so a question for us, I think the question for us as people of faith, as Unitarian Universalists committed to the values of love and justice, equity and liberation. The question is, how do we live? What do we need to find our way through and with these times? So to answer this question, I want to go back to some of that wisdom in the parable and some of the wisdom that maybe wasn't named but is there. So first, as Danon Perry says, as much as we want to stay holding on to our current bar until the next one is safely in our grasp, it just doesn't work that way. We must totally release our grasp and take a leap of faith in order to grab what is next. And this is not easy. Sounds easy. It's easy to say. It's much harder to do. For in times of change, let's be honest, that in times of change, what we most want to do is cling, right? Is cling to what we know. And I want to name this explicitly in your congregation, dear ones and friends. River, ERUUF. Today, your relationship with Reverend Brett is changing. While you have come to know each other over the last several years of ministry, your relationship is fundamentally changing as you install her as your senior minister. And you all in this congregation, you the members and leaders, you bring to this relationship the foundation of incredible work and ministry, the foundation of the strong ministry with Reverend Deb Kerr. However, these two ministers are not the same. They will and must lead differently, shaped by different identities and experiences. And in saying yes in your calling of Reverend Brett, you are also agreeing to let go of that former bar and the way things were. It's the only way to offer a full-throated yes to this next ministry and all the ways that it will welcome growth and change and possibility. This is the day. Let us be glad and rejoice in it. And now, let me also share this, because letting go is not a negation of what has been. Letting go is not a negation of what has been. Sometimes there's wisdom that grows that we know there is more ahead, things we can do differently. We learn and grow and change in our lives. But that doesn't mean that what was before wasn't good and beautiful. But just imagine, when we try to hang on to the past while also reaching for that next bar, what happens? You stop moving, right? You just slowly go back and forth until you're stopped. And there are too many examples of this in communities that say they want to change but are not willing to take the risks and do the spiritual work of letting go of the longing for what was, or thinking that previous success is the recipe for success in the future. Friends, what has been is no longer. And what is to come is still being imagined, still being fought over, still being dreamed. Now, there's another gem in this story, and the author does not name it, but it is so clear to me, and this is the gem. When a trapeze artist lets go of the bar, they do not free fall. There is momentum carrying them as it carries all of us. What has been, what has nurtured us and been a source of goodness and love, it doesn't go away. It remains a source of strength, a wind at our backs. And just in a new way, and in fact, here's such an important lesson. By letting go, we allow what has been, what Perry describes as no longer on the list of alternatives. By letting go, we allow what has been to take on a new form of strength that gives us resilience and courage to experience together what is ahead. The pandemic and the other heartbreaks and crises of these last few years have forced us into the unknown. And as with a lot of experiences in our lives, we really didn't choose to let go and try to reach for another bar. Truly, the one we were holding on simply disappeared. And loss and change and transition are often like that in our lives. Without warning, so many expectations, so many things we took for granted, so many loved ones were lost. Now we are in this fallow land, and I do think about the biblical stories of floods. We are in this fallow land, wet from our tears, still grieving, still unsure what is next. As the water recedes, the garden is just not there. It's fallow land that needs tending and care and planting. A land ready for new seeds of imagination and possibility. These are times when our spiritual imagination and our commitment to care, collective care, are critical for our survival. I believe these are the two most fundamental things we need going forward. Spiritual imagination about the world we need for everyone to thrive, and collective care, because we all need care right now, and we're just going to need more of it in the days ahead. Our commitment and covenants with each other, the strength of our ancestors, our rituals of song and poetry, our core values, these are sources of strength that fortify us and propel us forward. We do not free fall in the in-between, right? But we do need to reach out to one another and to what holds us. These days ask so much from us. May we remember that we give each other courage from our history and the foundations of who we are, and from our fundamental interdependence. And that brings me to my last point, something that the story is missing. You see, the story imagines a single trapeze artist. I don't believe any of us are out here on these bars by ourselves. We are on these bars together. We are in this in-between together, navigating the grief and anxiety of these liminal times, but also the creativity and possibility they offer. Danon Perry ends his parable with this reflection: I have a sneaking suspicion that the transition zone is the only real thing, and the bars are illusions that we dream up to avoid the void where the real change, the real growth occurs. Yes, with all the pain and fear and feelings of being out of control that can, but not necessarily accompany transitions, they are still the most alive, growth-filled, passionate, expansive moments of our lives. Transforming our need to grab that new bar means allowing ourselves to dwell in the only place where change can really happen. It can be terrifying. It can also be enlightening in the true sense of the word. Hurtling through the void, we might just learn to fly. There is possibility and hope in this moment, in these transition times. It is important that we not try to move too quickly to what we think comes next, but to stay present to each other, with hearts open, committed and connected, strengthened in one another and in our core values and in what has been before. There is no quick healing from this pandemic. It's not even over yet. There is no quick fix for climate change, and there is more loss ahead. It is a time of planting, of patience, of care, a time of solidarity to protect our communities and imagine new ways of living. So my charge to you is that in this threshold moment, as you install the Reverend Jacqueline Brett as your senior minister, as you reach this bar together, don't hold on to it tightly, because we need communities that are willing to live in this in-between and to remain unsettled, because so much is unsettled. So take these lessons in the journey, hold lightly, to what is. Practice letting go. Remember, we don't free fall. Hold on to one another. Carry and sustain and care for one another. And maybe we will find ways to learn to fly.
God is all there is. Yes, God is all there is. The God of many names, yet the principle remains that God is. God is all there is. God is all there is. God's love heals the broken heart. Yes, God's love heals the broken heart. This love will set you free and open your eyes to see that God is. God is all there is. In song, I know God is. God is. God is. God is
Good afternoon. My name is Dr. Elias Ortega, and I serve as president of Meadville Lombard Theological School. This afternoon, I bring greetings from the Board of Trustees, our alumni, our students, our faculty, and friends. It is an honor and a deep blessing to be here with you, the Inner River Unitarian Universalist Fellowship, celebrating the installation of Reverend Jacqueline Brett. We are gathered by bonds of friendship, collegiality, and a deep love for a beloved colleague who has said yes to the vocation of ministry, and also to serve as witness at the commitment you make to one another today. We congregate from close and far away, in person, and in the expansive space facilitated by technology, in an act of lifting up the role of ministry in our communal lives. If we are here today, it's because someone ministry has blessed our lives. Someone who has ministered to us has helped us live another day, has inspired us to continue in this journey. Someone ministry has been a blessing to us. For that reason, we believe in the power of the life-giving possibilities of Unitarian Universalism. And today I come to you to extend an invitation. I want to invite you to live into generosity and share of your gifts, and do so joyfully in support of ministry. Sharing of the plates is a ritual through which we live our commitments to support the causes that align with our values. In this installation service, you are called to support two of those causes. The first, the Living Tradition Fund, and second, Meadville Lombard Theological School. In the General Assembly of 1988, it was the Living Tradition Fund was established with the following request: that ordination installation services held in member societies include an offering to this fund. Over the years, that request has become a tradition among us, and these funds help to support ministry in different ways. It can provide need-based scholarship for theological students who have completed a full year of theological education. It can also assist the new ministers to reduce the burden of debt. And it can also help to provide emergency assistance to seminarians, ministers, and religious professionals and other congregational staff in moments of deep need. There is almost 179 years of existence. Meadville Lombard Theological School's mission has been one to partner in ministry in the formation of future religious professionals who are grounded in Unitarian, Universalist, and Unitarian Universalist traditions. Over the years, we continue to provide a theological education that helps ground future ministers in this work. We have sought to chart a path of innovation to facilitate ministerial preparation, leading to our current low residence model. We offer a contextual curriculum that we aim can help prepare our students to do the work in ministry, in congregational life, and beyond. But one thing continues to be the same, that we are committed to preparing ministers and religious professionals who are grounded in Unitarian Universalism, who believe that faith matters to this word, and that are committed to realizing the beloved community in partnership with congregations. Our presence here today witness to such commitments. For this reason, I invite you to give with joy and give with generosity to support the Fund of the Living Tradition and also Meadville Lombard Theological School, because ministry matters not only for us today, but for generations to come. Give joyfully.
O Great Spirit, whose voice I hear in the wind, whose breath gives light to the world, hear me. I am weak and slow. I need your strength, your wisdom. May I walk in beauty. Make my eyes behold the red and purple sunset. Make my hands respect the things that you have made. Make my ears sharp to hear your voice. Make me wise so that I may know the things you taught your children. The lessons that you've given in every tree and rock. Make me strong, not to be superior to my brothers, but to fight my greatest enemy, myself. Make me ready to come to you with straight eyes, so when this life fades as the fading sunset, my spirit will come to you without shame, without dishonor. Oh, Great Spirit, whose voice I hear in the wind, whose breath gives light to the world.
Reverend Jim Lewis, Minister of Lifespan Faith Development and Pastoral Care here at Eno River Unitarian Universalist Fellowship, and I would like to invite my colleague, Reverend Jacqueline, up for a charge from a special group within our congregation. Come on down, my co-chargers. Come on down. You're doing great. Come on. Right here. You're good. You're going to face this way. Yeah. Excellent. Do you want to sit or you want to stand? We can sit. It's okay. Come on up, you two. So, in writing this charge, myself and some of our religious education teachers sat down with the children and youth, and we asked them what might be important for Reverend Jacqueline to remember in being our new lead minister. This is their charge, slightly organized by myself, read by two of our youth, Sage and Finn. Now, Reverend Jacqueline, I know that you are very good at many of these things, so I am sure that this will not be a problem for you. All right, are you prepared? Ready? First of all, in the spirit of being, be wise. Bring it up here, you got it? Yeah. Bring it up to the heads. Go ahead, Finn.
Say a lot of stuff. Speak in plain words so everyone can understand. Don't talk too fast. Share stories with us. Teach us about being Unitarian Universalists. Keep in mind the spiritual experience of youth and how it will impact their adult life.
Next, be caring.
Provide care for members and help everyone find ways to help provide care. Recognize everyone's words, no matter how old or young, and no matter what you believe. Don't laugh at what people say, unless it's supposed to be funny. Unless you can't tell if it's supposed to be funny. Then ask or don't laugh. Make sure that those with mobility issues and elderly can connect with community.
And also, be fun.
Give us snacks.
Give us snacks.
Say a lot of puns. Don't say a lot of puns. Bring lots of music and singing. And the middle schoolers want to let you know they also love coffee hour.
And finally, be loving.
Visit us. Spend time with us. Listen to us. Support us.
And as the final part of this charge, we're going to present you with these hearts, which symbolize the love, the trust, the hopes of the children and the youth at Eno River Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. I already know that you will support and care for and guide these wonderful people who are part of our community. So blessings for all the possibilities of this ministry. You got it, you got it. It's okay.
I'm Reverend Daniel Trollinger, Executive Minister here, and I'd like to invite all staff present, stay exactly where you are, but rise in body and spirit. Reverend Jacqueline Brett, we, your staff, welcome you into your ministry here at the Inner River Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. We charge you to engage the work of shared ministry here, guided by love and compassion, informed by a commitment to equity and justice, and inspired by the shared work of transformation.
We ask that you always seek to co-create a warm and welcoming community for both staff and congregation, and practice transparency and trust with our communications and our confidences.
We invite you to join us in affirming the gifts each of us bring to our shared work, to offer feedback in a positive and encouraging way, to acknowledge the effort that went into the work, and to practice being mindful of our potential impact on others.
We call you in action and working towards resolution when we encounter conflict, and speaking with directness, honesty, and humility. We call you to follow through on your commitments to us, your commitments to this congregation, and your commitment to yourself and your own faith journey. We welcome your humor. We encourage you to enjoy this journey and ask that you remember to have fun along the way.
Reverend Jacqueline, as you were installed as our lead minister today, we, as your staff, join you on this journey of transformation. A journey where we offer you and each other the freedom to dream and grow, the freedom to be vulnerable and trust, and the freedom to take risks and imagine a new way. All in service to the vision and mission of this fellowship. Welcome.
Welcome. Welcome.
Wait, who's not got it right? Okay, right. Within our Unitarian Universalist religious tradition, the process of calling and settling a minister goes back hundreds of years to the radical Reformation and the free church tradition. No right is more precious to a free congregation than that of choosing their own minister. Likewise, no right is more precious to a Unitarian Universalist minister than choosing the congregation whose mission they will serve and whose people they will love. So it is with profound feelings of gratitude, respect, and love that we gather to install the Reverend Jacqueline Yvonne Canty-Brett, whom we have called through a democratic process as lead minister of the Eno River Unitarian Universalist Fellowship, and who has freely agreed to serve among us. Yes. Yes. Bring it. Will the members of the Eno River Unitarian Universalist Fellowship please rise in body, in voice, or in spirit and join me in saying the words of the act of installation found in your order of service. For those participating via live stream, the words will appear on your screen. Reverend Jacqueline, we have called you and now hope that you will settle here to live and minister among us. We recognize that our requests and promises on this day create a set of sacred agreements, a covenant between us, which also includes something larger than us, which some call God, love, divine spirit, and others by no name at all. And so we make these requests to you, mindful of our religious heritage and past promise. We ask you for spiritual leadership, ethical guidance, and religious insight. We ask you to preach prophetic and healing words in freedom and in love. Act in service of justice and compassion. Offer a presence of radical welcome and celebrate the mystery and wonder of life. We promise to work with you to co-create a shared ministry rooted in love, transformation, authenticity, wholeness, and humor. We ask that you help us be our best selves by calling us back to our mission and covenant. Keep reminding us of the enduring values we profess. Companion us as we advance justice in and beyond our community and engage with critical social and environmental issues. The hard work of ministering to a broken and beautiful world is ours to do together. Reverend Jacqueline, are you ready and willing to join us and undertake the commitments of this ministry?
Yes, I am. With your help. And in turn, I make these requests of you. Dear beloveds, will you remember that ministry of this fellowship belongs to each of us in particular ways? And will you commit to co-creating and working in partnership? Will you commit yourselves to lifelong growth and learning, remaining open to curiosity, possibility, and imagination? Will you remember the awe and wonder come to each of us differently, and openness is our sacred duty? Will you be compassionate toward failure, mine and your own? Will you remember that the cultivation of love, joy, and laughter can be our strength and sacred balm? Will you remember that because each of us has different identities, abilities, and talents, each of us understands life from a different perspective, and each of us has something unique to contribute? Therefore, will you commit yourselves to speaking the truth with love and listening and responding with love? And are you ready and willing to make these commitments?
Therefore, being members of the River Unitarian Universalist Fellowship, do hereby install you, Reverend Jacqueline Yvonne Canty Brett, on this day as our lead minister. In our journey together, we intentionally join ourselves in the co-creation of the beloved community to which we aspire. Through these words, we celebrate and acknowledge our commitment to work together in mutual good faith and goodwill.
With deep gratitude and great joy, trusting in the transformative power of love, and with your continuing support and the support of colleagues, I joyfully take up this ministry into which you have called me. May our time together promote justice, peace, and love, so as to live into the possibility and promises of our faith. Ashe, amen, and may it be so.
It's okay. Will Reverend Jacqueline's family, friends, and colleagues please rise as you are able and add your affirmation of the ministry that Reverend Jacqueline and the congregation will share as Reverend Dr. Sophia Betancourt leads us in a laying on of love upon Reverend Jacqueline.
Thank you. Beloveds. Beloveds, there we go. I am really grateful, oh goodness, for just this joy, for this joy, this celebration, this yes. This afternoon, I'm privileged to bring the words from the Reverend Marta Valentin, who so wishes she could be here and could not be with us today. This ritual celebration, this layering on of love, sometimes known as a laying on of hands, is a way for us to bring spirit and goodness and community and yes into this blessing. So, in the realm of the god Indra is a beloved metaphor called Indra's jewel net. It is a vast net that stretches infinitely in all directions. In each eye of the net is a single, brilliant, perfect jewel. Each jewel also reflects every other jewel, and each of the reflected images of the jewels bears the image of all the others. Whatever affects one jewel affects them all. And further, because all phenomenon, which we all are, right, arise from the same ground of being, all things are within everything else. Can you picture this net with me? And yet those many things do not hinder each other. So as we enter into this sacred moment, I invite you to hold this bejeweled image in your mind's eye as we move toward creating Jacqueline's net. Beyond simply reflecting our bling before each other, we will come a little closer to create a layering on of love. I believe one of the many reasons Reverend Jacqueline has arrived at this day is because of the graceful touch she offers each of us in word, in thought, and in deed. And we have been given the gift to reciprocate, individually and as one body, to instill in Reverend Jacqueline our love and support from our collective affirmation of that safe and loving touch. The magnificent jewel that she is radiates to us and back from us to her and to each other. So as we begin to create Jacqueline's net, let us be mindful, please, of those among us for whom movement might be challenging for whatever reason. Let us be mindful that someone might not wish to touch or be touched in this season of illness or just by personal preference. And let's be creative on how we join together. So it might be elbows touching or shoulder to shoulder or toe to toe. What matters in the end is to feel connected in this way from the Queen Jewel on out. Are we ready to begin? All right, so I call forth her people, first Jacqueline's family, who have her back no matter what, to come and stand behind her, please, resting a hand gently. Yes, yes. And next, I invite forth women and non-binary UU ministers of color, a growing group within our blessed tradition of which Reverend Jacqueline is a part, to begin to lay your touch as well on her or on a family member. See how we build the net in this way. Yes, I want to call forth the leaders of this church, especially those on the search committee, board members, committee members. If you consider yourself a lay leader of this congregation, please come forward. So remember, touch someone who is touching Reverend Jacqueline. Yes. I call forth the staff members, those who are tasked with keeping the ERUUF jewels sparkling. Please come forward and join this net. And now may the rest of the congregation, wait a minute, nope, I cannot do that. I missed a key and critical group. My apologies. Can I call forth our children and youth, and your adults if you need them, to continue to connect safely in this way? Where are the younger members of this beloved community? Excellent. I just can't see past the beauty of all these jewels. Yes, yes, come forward, come forward. All right. Can I actually? Thank you. No, you're fine. All right, so now I want to call forth colleagues who have come to join us to bless on this day. Touch someone who is touching someone. The aisles are good for this. The aisles are good for this. Can I ask you to touch me? Awesome, thank you. I'm out of hands. All right. And now everyone, if you are present on this day, if you are a member of this community, if you have come to bring your blessing, all those gathered, please come forward as you will in body or in spirit and join this net. Touch a beloved who is touching a beloved who is touching a beloved who is touching our beloved. Yes. And lastly, but far from least, those beloveds who are with us online across this vast network of mutuality, I invite you in our virtual community to place a hand on your heart and another toward the screen. We could not bless this ministry without you. So in an act of blessing, I have the privilege of reading for you more of Marta's words. This is a poem written just for this blessed day. Jacqueline's Net. Now, as you hear these words, I would invite you to extend your heart to all those with whom you are connected and allow this love, this possibility, this grace to land in our queen jewel, our beloved. All right, Jacqueline's Net, on this evening of the full moon with hearts that brim with humble pride, we bless this child of the universe, beloved to many present and afar, to pray this call to ministry into an enchanting being that is beyond any unadorned doing. In this net of belonging and becoming, may her graceful touch bring forth from the core of her essence stardust and moonbeams of delight and joy, to sprinkle on the inevitable challenges that serve to remind us that when the light is shifted, there is a wider clarity to behold, more forgiveness, more justice, continued dreams. As we receive her light this day, and reflect back our own, honoring her reverence and her familiarity, may we inspire Jacqueline to recall this moment as one of mutuality in this shared ministry of power and purpose, imagination and possibility, living into new chapters forged of history and new liberatory traditions, jazz and poetry shimmering through dullness and the ordinary. We bless you with our tender yet fierce love, and we trust that your net, this net, will connect us, catch us if we fall, but never ensnare. As jeweled stars sent forth to share rays of divine light, we commit to shine forth with you from this day forward. We pray your strength will overcome fears, your courage will trust your wisdom, your patience will allow new breaths, and when you look in the mirror, that you will see us all there with you. And Reverend Marta invited a few of our colleagues to add their blessing.
These hands upon you today that may feel so heavy, tomorrow will still be here and they will lift you up. They will be with you forever, surrounding you with love.
And here among us, the grandmother's hands are here also. Hands that cooked and cleaned, tilled the soil and picked the cotton. Hands that hugged and healed. Hands lifted in praise. Hands that were both blessed and a blessing. Hands which touch and uplift you, Sister Jacqueline, today.
Heart to heart and hand to shoulder, we weave this web of love. Like all webs, this brings both connection and space. May you find God in the gaps, rest in the pauses, and freedom in the becoming. May you be held, but not too tightly.
The Japanese word kokoro speaks to the intersection between the mind and the heart. So may that deep, deep spirit within you meet the loving, fierce spirit of this congregation. And out of that union may be born again, beginner's mind.
Beloved, may the connection that flows through this community strengthen, bless, and enliven you and this shared ministry for the days and years to come. As the Reverend Yvonne Sion, our first Black woman to be ordained into the Unitarian Universalist ministry in 1981, reminds us in her writings, our work is to transcend the boundaries between us and our fellow humans. This spirit of Ubuntu, I am because you are. You are because I am. That is so central to your ministry, is a blessing for all we are called to be together in community. So may that very spirit of Ubuntu bless and keep you and those with whom you are privileged to serve. Amen. Ashe. Blessed be. Yes. Can you say yes for me? Yes. One more time. Yes? Yes. Amen. Amen. Please be seated with gentleness and care.
I know you've been trying to get back to that. It's a prayer for the whole family. I'm the Reverend Cheryl M. Walker, the interim minister of the Unitarian Society of Germantown, Pennsylvania, and very proudly, I was her MFC mentor. It was an easy gig, let me tell you. Sure. Family, would you pray with me? Spirit of life, Spirit of abundant love, known to us by so many names and different expressions, beloved God, on this day as we formalize the shared ministry of the Reverend Jacqueline Yvonne Canty Brett and the Eno River Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. We ask these blessings upon them for this relationship that has already been and shall continue. Bless them with harmony. Like the choir we have heard this morning, this afternoon. Bless them with harmony as they shape their future together, as they shape their dreams for each other together. Bless them with harmony. But just a touch of discontent. That they know that each is bringing their own truths and they are being honest with each other. Bless them with peace. Peace of heart and mind, peace within these walls, that they may do the work of bringing peace beyond these walls. But sometimes trouble their waters. For in those troubled waters' time, we often break through to something we could not know before the waters were troubled. Bless them with boldness. Never let them dream small. And at times, bless them with stability. That they know when just to set a spell and rest for the journey to come. Bless them with gratitude. May each of them feel gratitude for the other. May Reverend Jacqueline always feel grateful for the people of this congregation, and may the good people of this congregation always feel grateful for the Reverend Jacqueline. And always, always, bless them with a love that knows no bounds. A love that is freely given, freely received, given again and again and again and again, knowing that there is no end to the amount of love they have. And may that love infuse their dreams, their work, their being with one another, their being in the world. It is indeed a great day. Bless them. In the name of all that is holy, blessed be. Amen. Ashe.
Now, Rev, this is our pledge to you. And as you're singing this, when you feel it, do the thing that makes you feel the most powerful and the most committed. It's very easy. I will be your standing stone. I will stand by you. I will be your standing stone. I will stand by you. We got you, Rev. I will be your standing stone. I will stand by you. For the good times and the hard times, we got you. I will be your standing stone. I will stand by you. Join me, sopranos. I will be your standing stone. I will stand by you. When you feel it, stand for the Rev. I will be your standing stone. I will stand by you. No one is alone, we got you. I will be your standing stone. I will stand by you. I will be your standing stone. I will stand by you. Every day I'm there. I will be your standing stone. I will stand by you for always, and I will be your standing stone. I will stand by you.
Please be seated.
I am Lisa Jones. I'm a proud member of Eno River Unitarian Universalist Fellowship, a seminarian at Meadville Lombard Theology School, and a co-leader of your ministerial search committee. Like many of you, I remember the day when Reverend Kerr sent the email that would change our congregational lives. There was a mixture of concern that our traditions and forward progress might change, fear of the unknown, and excitement of what changes might be. You selected us as a committee to represent you, and we answered your charge with listening sessions, surveys, conversations, interviews, and private emails. We heard your questions and concerns and did a whole lot of documentation that encapsulated the past and outlined our future vision for our fellowship. Finally, today, we meet to install the person you collectively called. No, you didn't ask for Reverend Brett by name. Well, let's be honest, a couple of you did. A couple of you did. But instead, you described who you wanted our next lead minister to be. You wanted a great preacher with a way of presenting a message with a gentle but certain hand. Someone who respected the multifaceted manner in which we choose to exercise our spiritual or human beliefs, who cared about our children and their programming, who would lead in the areas of anti-racism, climate change, and in the socioeconomic issues of the local communities in which we live. You wanted someone who would listen with a whole and non-judgmental spirit, feed us from open hands, and love us with an open heart. Reverend Jacqueline, the congregation wanted you. Fellow congregants, the one thing our search committee came away with was that the call must be both ways. Not only did we have to choose a new lead minister, but the potential lead minister also had to choose us. We who are flawed in a perfectly human way, who are sometimes messy and demanding before, during, after, or instead of being loving and kind. Today, Reverend Brett takes us as we are, and we must do the same. This must be done while feeding and nurturing the potential we all have to learn from one another en route to becoming the best version of our individual and collective selves. We are interconnected and therefore belong to one another. As a symbol of the sacred call, we at the Eno River Unitarian Universalist Fellowship present this beautiful gift as a congregational gift to you, our beloved Reverend Jacqueline Canty Brett. On this day of your installation, may you wear it in the spirit of love, honor, and respect in which it is given. Will you remove your stone, please? Our other committee members were Ms. Diane Blount, Julie Edmonds, Steve Franklin, Vincent Licenziato, Mike McLeod, and Megan Meyer.
I am sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love. I am sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love. No matter where you go, no matter where you've been, you'll never walk alone. I feel you deep within. So I am sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love. I am sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love. No matter what you feel or what you choose to show, I'm always there for you. And so I want you to know that I am sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love. I am sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love. I walk the path with you. Go slow, dear ones, don't hurry. I'll go just like you need to go. There is no need to worry, 'cause I am sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love. I am sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love. I am sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. This is an unusually vibrant and engaged congregation, and visionary congregation, that's quite obvious. And now you have formally installed an unusually talented and bold lead minister. I think such unusualness calls for a kind of unusual charge to the congregation. So why don't I add to the unusualness, the unusuality of the charge by using my uncanny ability to see into the future. I'm pretty proficient at this, so much that I don't need a crystal ball, although I have to say, is it dark out? Oh yes, good. It works better when it's dark out. Give me a minute. Oh, it's coming to me. Wow. Here is what I see. The year is 2033. It is nighttime. Reverend Jacqueline is in the parking lot walking to her car after leaving a meeting of the Board of Trustees. She's ecstatic. As the meeting was about to adjourn, someone mentioned, hey, it's been 10 years since her installation. And with that comment, the trustees began to spontaneously reflect on where their shared ministry had taken them, how they had made significant contribution to the greening of North Carolina, impacting the lives of so many who had suffered injustices because politicians had once refused to take serious climate change. How the congregation had found new ways of reaching children and families and youth, so many of whom added to the racial and ethnic diversity of the fellowship. How they had enhanced the spiritual lives of so many, a fact that was obvious when they added to that fourth worship service the year before. Our good Reverend, so grateful for this ministry. She even acknowledges to herself in that parking lot that by and large the members had become more and more sensitive to what it meant to be led by a gay woman of color. And in fact, she thought, yes, she too had become more sensitive about what it meant to lead as a gay woman of color. So much good stuff. As she turns from unplugging her car from one of the many church's charging stations, she spots a small group of trustees, mostly the executive team, across the way. Uh-oh, the meeting after the meeting. The parking lot meeting. Something's going on there. The body language isn't right. She wonders if she should go to them. No, she thinks. If they want me there, they ought to ask me to join them. I trust them. So she gets in her car, drives away, leaving not one single emission. Meanwhile, the parking lot meeting continues. Well, you know what we didn't mention at the end of that meeting, don't you? The board secretary, Sam, is speaking. They had joined the fellowship 20 years ago. We didn't mention that since we've grown so significantly, Reverend Jacqueline has become spread way too thin. A new member told me that Reverend Jacqueline was not available to see her for a pastoral conversation. And they were directed to either one of the ministers, one of the other ministers, or to the pastoral visiting team. But she only wanted to talk to Reverend Jacqueline. And those kinds of comments are bubbling up all over the place. In fact, I signed a petition that will request that this be an agenda at the annual meeting of the church. President of the congregation is a little taken aback by this. She takes a deep breath, consciously going into one of her own centering techniques. Breathe in peace. Breathe out love. And then she speaks calmly, truly, with love in her heart. And she had a lot to say. Well, Sam, we'll address that petition if and when it comes our way. I do wish that the board would have had a little notice that this was happening, but sometimes such courtesies are overlooked. I understand that. But Sam, don't you remember? First, Reverend Jacqueline was our office assistant, and then she was our student minister, and then she was our minister for congregational engagement, and then finally, we called her as our lead minister. And each time her role changed, it took some doing, it took some time, But as a minister and a congregation, we figured out together. We figured out together how to live our way into those changes intentionally. We put in place programs that would help bolster the ministry. We just did a lot of different things to make sure that the congregation got what it needed and that the ministry of our church could flourish. We didn't need a petition to do that stuff. We certainly didn't need a vote. It always took some time, but it always ended up being okay. And I guess the way I see it, the president continues, is that as the church changes, it's inevitable that the role of the minister will change. And based on the past, we don't need a vote to help us live into new realities. Sam pushes back, not hard, but says, yeah, but voting, democracy, that's what we do. We're a democratic institution. And democracy is in all of the headlines these days, in all of the news stories. It's important that we live out our democratic values. Sam, she responds, the president, that is. Do you remember what that guy at her installation said 10 years ago? You know the guy I'm talking about? He was that guy with that squawky voice and that round face, that white guy from Chicago. He said that democracy has a different meaning in the context of a congregation than it does in our town or our state or our nation. He said that voting was great for electing officers, for calling ministers, for approving budgets, for launching capital campaigns. But when it comes to things like relationships and growing together as religious people and navigating conflicts, personal and institutional, those traditional hallmarks of democracy pull people apart. And they snuff out the possibility for growing together. They increase conflict. They don't solve them. He didn't say that, Sam responds. You did, just now. He said all that gimmicky, goofy future talk stuff. Sam, says the president, Sam, don't you get it? He wrote my dialogue. Oh yeah, says Sam. He wrote mine too. And that leaves them both a little confused. And so the group breaks up, question marks in their eyes, each contemplating the nature of change and the best way to be in authentic relationship with their lead minister. And Reverend Jacqueline, she's home sleeping now. Just before she drifted off to sleep, she was thinking that she just couldn't wait for tomorrow because she knew that there would be new, unexpected challenges to address, new relationships to build, new projects to initiate, new ways to serve the people of the Eno River Unitarian Universalist Fellowship and the larger world, new spiritual lessons to impart and receive, new ways to minister. And she would be doing all of that with a congregation with whom she had this living bond of trust. I'm getting something here. I'm getting some. Oh, it's 2038 now. Oh, and they all lived happily ever after.
I don't know if it's the worst thing to be the last person who has to speak in this beautiful occasion or to have to go after Lee Barker. My dear colleague, so my friend, I was reading on the website your bio, and much of it I already knew. You went to Meadville. I knew some things about what you had done before you were called here to do this amazing work about which everyone is clearly very excited. I knew about music, I knew about dancing. However, I had no idea that you walk 5 miles a day. I mean, I try to walk 10,000 steps a day, and a lot of times that means I go back and forth in my bedroom for like 2,000 steps at the end of the day. So I believe that this is the right metaphor upon which to base my charge to you, whose ministry is so precious to all of us, not just those in this congregation. I want to think first about the first mile, and in the first mile, we are often just trying to figure out what our path is. And in these very trying times, we know that it's clear that you have always known that your path is truly unique and your own, and entering into ministry at a later stage in your life, you have a very clear sense of what you want to do. You are committed to making that ministry transformational for yourself and also for those around you. And still, I would advise you in that first mile to check the compass, buy some new walking shoes, and remember what a gift this particular journey is to you and to all of us. The second mile is about companions for the journey. Being you, you could just walk alone. Being self-actualized, self-reflective, you could do that. And yet there will be moments of heartbreak, moments of challenge. Setting boundaries with someone you love, presiding over the celebration of life of yet another beloved, being sometimes the victim of unintended but still hurtful aggressions aimed sometimes at you and sometimes just in your vicinity. So please consider in that second mile who your companions are that will walk with you. You clearly have many to choose from. The third mile is about sustenance and joy, and that kind of journey you know well. Please remember to do that and to take the time for the joy and the sustenance that we all need so that your journey among us will be as fruitful as it can be. The fourth mile is about care for yourself. You probably should have done that in the first mile, but I know you, and you're not going to get to it till the fourth mile. Have a snack, picture that far horizon. Remember that it is sometimes about the role and not about you. You will be the object of transference. You will be a magnet for every person whose trauma in their life has included a woman, a black person, or shame about something they wish they had done and hadn't done. When people ask you sometimes, hey, could you just carry this for me for just a little while? Sometimes you will say yes. But remember as you walk this fourth mile every day that sometimes you must say no. And the fifth mile, it is about wisdom and love and compassion. And in your presence, I need not say anything more. So I say to you, my beloved friend and colleague, please know that in truth, you already are charged with everything you need to make this journey. But thank you for allowing us to celebrate its beginning with you.
Thank you all. I invite you at this time to join with me for a word of prayer. Dear sacred spirit that is love, spirit of life and source of all that is, ever weaving our energies, hearts, and beings together as one. We embrace with great gratitude the blessing and splendor of this magnificent evening on which we are joined together as companions called to this eternal now, to this transformative moment of sacred threshold crossing. We offer our thanks, O love, for all that has come before, the sorrow of it and the sweet of it, that which has grieved and challenged our hearts, and all that reminds us that we are glorious and whole together, the seen and the unseen, the known and that which has yet to make itself known. I lift up with deep gratitude the giving and caring hands, the family, the friends, the members and mentors, the colleagues, well-wishers and kin, the all, supportive, expectant, hopeful, full of faith and deep wells of love. For all the guides and ancestors who have loved us here, who have watched over each of us, ever beckoning us on to this path of light and love, this path joining together from the sacred 7 directions toward this one. We offer our thanks for this journey in the company of beloved community and the blessed assurance that we do not travel alone. Thank you, O love, for the all of it. May we ever hear love's call. May we listen always for love's guidance. May it ever be so. Amen, Ashe, and blessed be.
Let's go. Here we go. All right. Let us be rejoicing. Here we go. We gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Good. Come on, one foot in front of the other and lead with love. We gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Good. One foot in front of the other and lead with love. Don't give up hope. Don't give up hope. You're not alone. You're not alone. Don't you give up. Don't you give up. Keep moving on. Keep moving on. We gotta put, come on, bases, in front of the other and lead with love. Good. One foot in front of the other and lead with love. We gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Good. One foot in front of the other and lead with love. Lift up your eyes. Lift up your eyes. Don't you despair. Don't you despair. Look up ahead. Look up ahead. The path is there. The path is there. So we gotta put one foot in front of the other. Come on, sprinters. Lead with love. Good. One foot in front of the other. One foot. And lead with love. We gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. I know you're scared. I know you're scared. And I'm scared too. And I'm scared too. But here gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. We gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love, and lead with love, and lead with love. Yes! Yes!
Mother, mother, there's far too many of you crying. Brother, 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 there's far too many of you dying. You know we've got to find a way to bring some love in here today. Father, Father, we don't need to escalate. War is not the answer, 'cause only love can conquer hate. You know we've got to find a way to bring some love in here today. Picket signs and picket lines, don't punish me with brutality. Come on, talk to me so you can see what's going on. What's going on? What's going on? You tell me what's going on. Mother, mother, everybody thinks we're wrong, but who are they to judge us simply 'cause our hair is long? You know we've got to find a way to bring some love in here today. Picket lines and picket signs, don't punish me with brutality. reality. Come on, talk to me so you can see what's going on. What's going on? What's going on? Please tell me what's going on. Now's the time for all good men to get together with one another and hide all our problems and hide all our troubles and try to give it fun and try to find peace within without stepping on one another. And do respect the women of the world. Remember, we all have mothers. You gotta make this land a better land and the world in which we live. And we make this man a better man with the kindness that we give him. I know we can make it. I know darn well we can work it out. Oh, yes, we can. I know we can. Yes, we can. Oh, why can't we? If we wanted, yes, we can. We gotta take care of the children, the little children of the world, 'cause they're our strongest hope for the future, the little bitty boys and girls. We gotta make this land a better land and the world in which we live, and make each man a better man with the kindness that we give him. I know we can make it. I know darn well we can work it out. Yes, we can. I know we can. Yes, we can. Oh, why can't we? If we want it, yes, we can. We gotta take care of the children, the little children of the world, 'cause they're our strongest hope for the future, the little bitty boys and girls. Make this land a better land and the world in which we live, and make each man a better man with the kindness that we give him. I know we can make it. I know darn well we can work it out. Oh, yes, we can. I know we can. Yes, we can. Oh, why can't we? If we wanted, yes, we can. Yes, we can. I know we can. Yes, we can. Oh, why can't we? If we wanted, yes, we can. Yes, we can. I know we can. Yes, we can. Oh, why can't we? If we wanted, yes, we can.
You did a beautiful job on all the two. I finally see you.